Hey everyone, this is Benjamin Dobrowolski from GKS Lifting and Moving Solutions. And today I'm talking with Luke Willard. He's a master rigger at Dalrymple Rigging and Transport. And we're going to discuss his thoughts on the crane and rigging industry and why others should join this dynamic, exciting field. Thanks so much for taking the time, Luke.
Hey, Ben, I'm happy to be here. This is a topic that's near and dear to my heart. It's an industry that I've grown to love over years of being involved in it. So anything I can do for the SC&RF and GKS, a longtime partner of ours, thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. To jump right in, what all is involved with master rigger?
Well, here at Dalrymple, the role of a master rigger is synonymous with that of a team lead. So I am a team lead in my acting position, and I basically follow the customer from as early in the process of ordering and installing a piece of machinery to the very end of that process when that machine is up and running. So whether that's coordinating logistics and transportation to site preparation in the concrete, electrical service, and plumbing, and then with a focal point on job safety analysis and rigging plans of each major component and the assembly to help the technicians in getting that machine up and running and making money.
Gotcha. Now, how long have you been in the crane and rigging industry, and what kind of jobs have you had in the field that has led you to becoming a master rigger?
Well, a long story short, at 16 years old, I began working in the shop of a small, very specialized trucking company here in the greater Chattanooga area, a legacy company that had a great reputation. And I started mowing the grass, and before you know it, you go from the teenager who's mowing the grass to the teenager that's pulling tarps and dragging chains. To pilot cars and, the whole thing. But my teenage years were spent under a crane hook. Being the young guy on the job, I was hey, Luke, go hook this shackle here. And, I was pulling cables through shivs at a young age and just fell in love with it, Ben. I was hooked, pun intended. And the transition to machinery moving in a low headroom situation, a little bit high technical set niche of the industry has just been awesome. I've enjoyed it. So, I'm many years into it, but started at a young age and couldn't get away.
Yeah. So kind of related to that, because you're definitely, it sounds like you've got a passion for the work. What is it that you like the most about what you do?
I think my favorite aspect to my job as a machinery mover here in Dalrymple is the constant learning. I'm constantly learning new processes, how machines are made, how they're installed, and how they're operated to make other machines oftentimes. So the constant learning, the tangibility of seeing a machine go from a box to making parts, and the relationships we have with our customers, and watching local companies grow to an international stage and being a part of that for so many years. I've got to watch that evolution. And, I'd say those are my top three.
Absolutely. Yeah. What's something about the crane and rigging industry that, most people may not realize?
I think the most prominent thing that the general public doesn't realize about the crane, rigging, and specialized carrier sect of our economy is the detail that's involved. You see a truck going down the road with flashing lights and signs and flags. The general public sees it as something in the way. But on this side of the coin, we see it as, number one, progress. We also see it as someone's project. And then we also see it as prospect for where that piece is going, who's going to handle it, and what is that going to become in the grander scheme of, our really in a national view of where does that fit into it. So when you talk about the crane and rigging corner of our economy, we are involved in so much. I don't think the general public has any idea what all we do for our country.
Yeah. And, to kind of dig in a little bit into, what all we do for what this sector does for our country, why is the crane and rigging industry important to our economy and our broader society?
Oh, well, Ben, I think the crane and rigging world and the heavy transportation, as I alluded to a minute ago, is a fundamental step to every manufacturing process in the country. So without the machines to make parts, to make other machines, you can't get to the end. Well, integrated in several steps along the way, some man or woman has to handle each component of that, assemble it, and put it into operation, whether that be the transportation company to the site, maybe it's the crane company unloading it, and the riggers handling that, and then, machinery removers, if needed, move it into the building and put it in place, and then assemble that machine. So each step along the way, that manufacturing process is trucked in, assembled, and rigged, and then parts are trucked back out. So I think if you take away the crane, rigging, and transportation out of the national economy, it crumbles, frankly.
Yeah, I mean, just as important as manufacturing and that whole process is the installation of the equipment that allows you to manufacture. And if you don't have that part, then you're right. It all kind of falls apart. So
absolutely.
Yeah, it makes sense. So for you, Luke, what would you say to a young person that's thinking about getting into the industry?
Well, other than the things we've already discussed, which are part of my conversation with someone who's curious about what I do, I like to add to them also the fulfillment you get of being a part of all those steps along the way and getting to know these people that you're servicing. They're calling on you for a service and you're getting to know them, but also the vast array of skills that go into it can be translated into many areas of life, whether that be, from a physics and engineering standpoint, or maybe it's a hands-on craftsmanship, in our world, at least. Today, I'm on an interview. Tomorrow, I might be a carpenter building a crate for a machine. And then from that, I might have to sub in as an iron worker, so
yeah.
The variety of what we get into. But I try to express my passion for the industry, because I think if you can spark that passion in a young person, thinking back to myself, if you ever spark that, it becomes a wildfire and you can't get away from it. And that's all there is.
Absolutely. So, well, hey, Luke, I really appreciate you and everybody over at Dalrymple Rigging and Transport for your time. And thanks again.
Well, Ben, thanks for calling on me, and have a good one. I enjoyed our conversation.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Luke. Bye.
Bye-bye.